This video is not for the faint-hearted. And before we get into this, I want you to know that this comes from a place of love. I'm speaking to you as if I were talking to one of my younger sisters, in which I have two of. And as the eldest brother, how I show my love is by telling them the truth, especially when it comes to men, so they can know how to make the best decisions for their own happiness. And that's what I'm going to do with you right now. We can want what we want, but what we think we might want might not actually be what we need in order to make us happy. So we're going to go through 4 harsh but very clear signs that maybe you're dating or trying to date a little bit too high, that your standards might be sabotaging your journey to a happy relationship. One thing we have to understand as we delve into this is that there are 2 particular components when it comes to choosing a particular guy: the quality of a man versus the caliber of a man. The caliber of a man refers to his attractiveness, his status, his success, his accolades. What home does he own? What car does he drive? What lifestyle does he live? Whereas the quality of a man refers to his character. Does he operate with good morals? Does he have strong principles? Is he kind? Is he generous? Does he have high emotional intelligence? Is he considerate of others? And so what we're talking about today in regards to trying to date too high is the caliber of man. That's what we're referring to. So with that being said, the first sign that maybe the caliber of man you're trying to date is too high is that guys you get involved with never give you commitment. Now, it's not in every single case where a woman doesn't get commitment from a man is because maybe he feels that he can do better than her. He may have been open to having something serious with her, but maybe she didn't date in a way that leads to a relationship. In which case, enroll in my Clean Your Man program below, where I show you how to do just that. But the reason I say this one is because it's becoming more and more common, with sexual liberation and our casualness towards sex. This means that women can literally get any man that she wants. Yes, any man. And she does this by offering him easily accessible sex with her. In fact, the higher value a guy is, the more easily accessible sex she has to offer in order to maintain his attention. Men are hardwired to seek out sexual opportunity. And so this is somewhat of a hack of the male psyche for a woman to get into an intimate space with a guy. But men don't show their investment through their sexual time. They show their investment through their non-sexual time. And I see many women get this part confused. You could be having sex with a guy 3 to 4 times a week, but that's not him investing in you. That's just him having sex with you. It's easy as a woman to get a guy to have sex with you. That isn't girl game. Girl game is getting commitment from a man, getting exclusivity from a man, getting the relationship from a man. That's girl game. Now, if you find that you actually do yourself date in an effective way that would lead to a relationship, one that builds the emotional intimacy as you're building the physical intimacy, and the guys you date still aren't looking to give you any commitment, then that's a key sign that you're playing the right game with the wrong level of men. Next sign that maybe you're trying to date too high with the guy you're dating is you're always available for sex to him. This is a clear sign that the guy that a woman is involved with, and I say involved because that doesn't necessarily mean dating, that he is a little bit out of her weight class. Ultimately, the reason it would have resulted in this way is because you would have found that the only way he invests any time or attention in you is when sex is on the table. And you may not realize it, but you find that he never takes you on dates. He never spends time just trying to talk to you, whether that's through messaging or on the phone. You ask questions about him, he never asks questions about you. And so what happens is his behavior towards you conditions you to be sexually available to him 99% of the time, because that's the only way that he gives you any of his attention. But because you might be really into him, it can be hard to spot when you're in it. And so there are 2 very specific things you can immediately look out for to know if this is the case with you. 1, he rarely messages you first, and 2, the only time he does message you is when he wants to be intimate with you. And I get, as a woman, if you really like a guy and it seems that he's not that available, then you're going to jump at the chance to get whatever time you can with him. I get that. But this is part of the conditioning that he's doing with you. And while this may keep his attention somewhat, it doesn't garner his respect for you. And men do not commit to women that they do not respect. Next sign you're trying to date a little bit too high, especially with a guy that you're dating right now, is that you find it very hard to walk away. Now, Finding it hard to walk away from a guy you're in a relationship with compared to finding it hard to walk away from a guy you're just having fun with, those are two very different things, and I don't want those to be confused. So naturally, you have standards for yourself. But this guy that you're involved with, you just can't walk away from. You're not even in a relationship. You guys aren't together. He's made no promise of commitment to you or a future to you, which you know you deserve. Yet you just can't seem to walk away from him. Even though deep down, you kind of already know that he's just interested in the sex. You know deep down, he doesn't care for you to the same degree that you have care for him. Yet still, you just can't walk away. And the main reason a woman feels that she can't walk away in this kind of situation is because she feels that she will struggle to find another guy like him. And this isn't nice to admit, but this is a reality of how she feels. And so often she will hold on desperately in hopes of him changing his mind, having a change of heart with her. Because going back out there to the streets where there's already slim pickings, this guy seems like silver amongst copper. But the truth is, if a woman feels that this level of guy is very difficult for her to come across again, it's usually because that woman doesn't attract that caliber of man on a regular basis. Like whenever you see an attractive female celebrity break up with, one of these top celebrity successful guys, the reason they can do that so comfortably if said guy isn't really matching them emotionally is because they have no problem and have every bit of confidence that they can attract another man on that level. And remember, we're differentiating between the caliber of guy and who the guy is. The caliber of guy refers to his social standing, his status, his success, his accolades, whereas who the guy is his personality, his humor, his charm, his affection. So when we feel that someone we're involved with, we feel that that caliber is very difficult to come by, it's usually because it's a one-off for us. And maybe we're punching a little bit out of our league. Now don't get me wrong, guys do exactly the same thing. A guy will attract that absolute one stunner of a woman and so does everything and will tolerate anything from her just to keep her around. He doesn't hold himself to his standards or his self-respect. And that's the side of us having too high standards. Next sign that you're trying to date a little bit too high is that no other guy you date compares to him. This is part of the reason why it's so difficult for you to move on. Because even though you might be involved with this guy, you've had points where you're like, okay, I'm not getting what I want here, but I'm gonna stay here and just try and stay open to seeing someone else that may come along. Staying open to maybe dates from other people. And you realize and have the experience that every other guy who takes an interest in you just does not compare to this one man that you're involved with. Now, those other guys could be very nice guys, but maybe they're not as successful as he is. Maybe they're not as attractive as he is. Maybe they're not as intelligent as he is. Maybe they're not as confident as he is. And this is part of the reason why you stay in this situation for so long, because maybe you're trying to wait for another guy who is comparable that maybe you can start investing long term with, because really that's what you really want. But because that guy hasn't come yet, you stay in this situationship that is heading nowhere. And this is a very big sign that maybe your standards are a little bit too high for the caliber of man that you want. And that this guy that you're involved with, while he's not actually taking it seriously, in your eyes, it's better to have some of the caliber of the guy over all of the quality of a guy. But approaching it this way means you are robbing yourself of having something real with somebody really decent. Here's the question I want you to ask yourself. Would you rather have the best option out there, or would you rather be happy? And when I say the best option, I mean the best option in terms of the caliber of man. Meanwhile, there are plenty of guys who are high quality in character, but maybe they're not the top caliber. And so if you've been looking at how tall he is, how successful he is, how attractive he is, and it's not been working out, it's likely because you're focusing too much on the caliber of man, not the quality of the man. Now, is this me saying that you should choose some kind of slob who's kind of nice, but you're not actually attracted to? No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying start to prioritize a man's character, his values, his principles, his kindness, his generosity. Start to prioritize these things above the caliber of him. I'm not saying that caliber isn't important, but it necessarily shouldn't take the top spot of your list, especially if that's at the detriment of the quality. So if you're thinking to yourself, you're ready to attract that kind of man into your life, then enroll in my Claim Your Man program below, where I show you how to do just that. Thanks for tuning in, and as always, keep it slick.